Everybody wants pulled pork for game day, but nobody wants to stay up all night cooking it. So today, I'm showing you the easiest overnight pork butt you'll ever make. No injection, no fancy trimming, no babysitting, and you'll sleep like a baby. Let's make it happen. I'm starting off with a beautiful 10-pound pork butt for tomorrow's Oklahoma-Alabama game. I'll let you guess my team. Since I have a long day tomorrow, I want this cook to be as effortless as possible. And I promise you, if you follow this simple method, you'll have no fuss, melt in your mouth pulled pork that will be the life of your party. I decided minimal trimming is the way to go, so I just removed one hunk of fat that was getting on my nerves. I'll be honest though, this is something you don't even have to do. All in all though, I spent probably less than 5 minutes trimming this. So guess what? Let's get right to step one. The first step is fairly simple. Season it heavy. Today I'm using Meat Church's hickory rub and 3 Little Pigs touch of cherry. I'm going for a savory and sweet profile which pairs very well with pork. The cherry rub will also help in building that mahogany crust or bark that is synonymous with great barbecue. Going heavy with the rubs will give us that delectable bark or crust, meaning maximum flavor without having to inject or marinate. And really, it's that simple. No binder, no exotic techniques, no stress, no fuss. You can see the salt's already starting to work on the meat, but I wasn't ready to put it on the smoker, so at this time I just put it in the refrigerator for about an hour or two, planning on a 10 o'clock cook. For this technique, I'm employing my Yoder pellet cooker and using Traeger's cherry pellets for maximum color. And now for the most important step of the whole process. Set your pellet grill between 190 and 200 degrees. This is the heart of the whole method. Slow, steady, gentle heat, and this is going to give you maximum bark and no spritzing required. I put this pork butt on at 10 p.m. with no worries at all. No middle of the night sneak peeks, no probes at this point. I've done this technique so many times that I know great results are coming. And that's the whole point. I value my sleep, but I also value great barbecue, and there will be no regrets come lunchtime tomorrow. Time to go get some Z's. At a little after 6 a.m., I decided to check on the pork butt on the way to the bathroom. No wasted trips. The Yoder kept the temperatures right at 195 to the low 200s. The overnight smoke bath was doing its job. That bark was forming beautifully. Nice mahogany color. Everything looks on point. But I decided I wanted to add a little bit more flavor, so I pulled out the rub, sprinkled a little bit more just to touch up some areas that I noticed needed some improvement. In this low heat, that rub is going to melt beautifully and become part of that crust or bark, and it won't burn at all because, again, we're at low temperatures. And now to an important next step. Bump your pit up to 225 degrees. And now that I'm fully awake, I'm going to speed this cook up a bit. And come 8 a.m., look at what I'm looking at. This is awesome. It's gorgeous, beautiful bark. That rub is forming beautifully. Since I've got some pre-game responsibilities to care for, I decided to use my Inkbird temperature monitor just to get me ballpark internal temperatures, but mainly to help me test for probe tenderness, which is the most important part of barbecue. Don't get hung up on numbers. Just look and see if the meat is tender. And that's good barbecue. Things are setting up nicely for my afternoon game. And now, step 4. Look, you don't have to do this, but I decided to wrap the pork butt. I wrapped it because this thing had beautiful mahogany color. It was perfect, and I wanted to protect it from getting too dark. I didn't add anything to the wrap because I wanted this process to be foolproof and simple. When the pork butt was probe tender, which ended up being around 195, which happens when you cook at low temps, I decided to pull it off the pit, glaze it with barbecue sauce, and let it sit in my oven on warm until game time. And look what it produced. Guys, this was so simple and absolutely something you should do before your next game. It was juicy and flavorful. It pulled apart effortlessly. Just look at that blade bone come out. So tender, so delicious. And who said you can't get great smoke penetration on a pellet grill? Man, please. Look at that color. This was good and smoky. Perfect barbecue. And notice the drip. Yeah, baby, this was juicy. Look, I'm all about simplicity, and with this technique, you don't sacrifice quality. You get your sleep in, gives you time to care for other things, knowing that your barbecue will be top shelf. And believe me, this pork butt was. Even after the 20-minute rest in the oven and shredding the pork, still had plenty of time before the game started. Time to taste this masterpiece. Let's see how I did. Melt in your mouth goodness. Guys, if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe and let me know in the comments if this is something you would try. Now it's your turn. Let's make it happen.